current panel discussion is on the metaverse, blockchain and NFT in design space, which is more around design and Web 3.0, what can we expect next in the world of architecture, design and furniture in the metaverse. For that today we have Sanya with us, who's a blockchain evangelist at Trapped Asset Project. And we have Sahil, who's project head Power Algo. And Sheenam is here with us, co-founder Hi-Fi Blockchain. So it would be lovely if all of you would just quickly help with more details about yourself and we can then kickstart the event. Sheenam, over to you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sheena Arora. So I am a chief CEO at Hi-Fi Blockchain. How many of you are aware of the term blockchain? Anybody is aware of the term? Anybody is aware of the term blockchain? NFT? Okay, how many of you invested in Bitcoin? How much money have you made? So today we'll just start with the basics of how blockchain and metaverse is into design space, and everybody's heard of the hype around NFTs and how people are spending so much money on NFTs and whether they are making the returns on it or not is a question.
Hello everyone, my name is Sahil. I've been working in the blockchain industry for almost 5 years now. I started my blockchain industry with Prime Chain Technologies. So I used to work under Sheena, learned a lot from her. And after that I have started few of my own projects. That was done during the COVID period. And NFT has played a very important role, I would say, in the blockchain industry. So I'm a bit curious, like how come like people are not aware of NFT, especially here, because it plays a very important role even in your domain, right? So you guys do not have much idea about NFTs? Achha, you do. Okay, perfect. Then it's fine. So currently I'm developing a project in Gujarat that is more of like a energy trading, but that is being done on the blockchain technology itself. Part of my projects are into NFTs as well. So I have fairly a good idea of how exactly that will play a role probably in the architect world. So over to you, Sanya. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sanya. I'm currently a 12th grade student, but I've been working in blockchain and crypto for the last 5 years now. And basically what I do is, along with my studies, I create content on what blockchain is, how people can use it in different spaces, basically all of that. So this is kind of my domain.
So Sahil, I'll start with you. A lot of people believe that Meta is owned by Mark Zuckerberg. I think because of he rechanging the company name to Meta. So my question is, what do you think? Is metaverse real? And if it is, who owns it?
So there's this misconception that metaverse is actually owned by Facebook because they have also rebranded themselves as Meta. But metaverse is not an end product that has already been developed. It's a concept in itself, which is being developed by many giants. Also, a few people in the blockchain sector are also developing. They have their own concept around it. Now, basically what happens is metaverse is a 3D universe where things will happen virtually. So there are virtual spaces that is being connected under this metaverse concept. Every giant, say for example Facebook, they are trying to have their own concept. They are developing a platform where the creators can develop these virtual spaces for any use case. Say for example you want to work in the metaverse, so any creator can develop an office like virtual space where people can come together and they can work on a project. Microsoft is trying to develop their own concept of metaverse. At the same time, there are some people in the blockchain space who are trying to build the metaverse ecosystem in such a way that it is owned by the public itself. They're trying to design it around a cryptocurrency or around a token, so that whenever any new thing is happening for that particular ecosystem of metaverse, that can easily be done using those tokens. You can vote for the changes that needs to be made for that platform. So in such a scenario, if that picks up, we may have a metaverse that will be owned by the public. Unlike the current scenario where almost all the platforms are owned by some giant. They are the one running the ecosystem, they are the one controlling us. So blockchain is part of the metaverse, but at the same time, metaverse, it is not owned by Mark Zuckerberg. It is not owned by any giant. It's a concept that is being worked upon. At the same time, Shinam said ki whether metaverse is real or not. Now, when we talk of whether it is real or not, it's completely virtual. But at the same time, when we are using internet today, what happens? We are making use of two senses. We can see things or we can hear things from the internet. But at the same time, can you taste anything from the internet? Have you ever tried tasting anything from the internet? We cannot smell anything from the internet, and at the same time we cannot touch anything on the internet, right? Metaverse is trying to, like I said, it's a concept. So there are companies who are trying to work in this direction, where even in metaverse you will be able to touch things. Like Facebook invested in a company that has developed something called the haptic gloves. So using these haptic gloves, you can actually feel things in the metaverse or the virtual world. So things are being done on that front as well. So it's not real, it's virtual, but at the same time, you will make use of, I mean, it is catering to a lot of senses, not just the seeing and hearing senses. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Sahil. Sanya, coming back to you, what is the most common mistake people are making about metaverse?
So I'd say right now it's the hype, and we can see this with most things. So if anyone was around back then, the internet hype. Now the first thing people thought was internet is going to solve everything. All problems can be solved using it. We saw the same thing with blockchain, where people would say stuff like blockchain is going to bring around world peace or solve world hunger. The same thing is being done with metaverse. We're saying that it can solve all of our problems across the board, but no technology can do that, right? Problems are created by man, they'll be solved by man, but one technology cannot change it. So I think the true potential of metaverse can only be reached after the hype has died down, right? People can actually start working on it without these very weird expectations of what metaverse can do for us.
That's true. And I think ultimately metaverse and NFT are quite related. So coming back to my next question, we've heard about a lot of furniture design spaces up in NFTs, and people are buying the design NFTs also. What do you think is the future of furniture and this kind of design and creative thinking in NFT space?
So when we talk of NFT, that is a concept in blockchain. That is one of the use case of blockchain technology. It's the full form is non-fungible tokens. Now basically what happens is you have a digital ownership over any digital content or any digital thing that you have on the metaverse or virtual world. Now blockchain makes it very simple, because now you have an address where you can own these particular digital content or digital things, or we can say it as a digital twins. Now, if we talk in terms of furniture, how is that going to help you in terms of NFT? You can have any of your design as NFT. Now, when you have these NFTs which are unique in itself and a particular address is owning it, there is a value that can be added to it. Given that the market is ready to accept it, they want to own it. Because at any given point in time, if there are more than one people who wants to own it, there's going to be a value appreciation for that particular asset. So that's not just going to help you in brand recognition, it's going to help you in reaching out to a mass audience as well. Because now, say for example, Instagram, they have integrated the blockchain wallets with Instagram. So if you're owning any NFT on Polygon blockchain, you can showcase it on your Instagram profile. So if you're doing that, that is as good as you are owning one NFT that you have bought from a company that has furniture or probably something, a design that you can showcase on the Instagram. So that is like the cool factor which the Gen Z always look for, right? And Sanya, I think probably you can say for that and vouch for it, right? So that is one of the use case, I believe, where the NFT is going to play a very important role. At the same time, if like today what basically happening is that the NFT price are being manipulated. So there is always a hype that is also associated with it. And like Sanya rightly said, that once the hype dies down, that is the space where real innovation will actually happen. And I think now the market is actually correcting, and this is the right time for any startup, especially in the furniture zone or in the design zone, who wants to try this thing out, because it will not cost you more than 100 or 1000 rupees, but you can actually launch these NFTs and see whether the audience to whom you're trying to reach out to, whether they are interested in these kind of concepts or not. Because they are all on Instagram, they want to show these unique things, and probably through NFT you can have a better reach to these people. So
I think it will also help artists in terms of when they have to design. In real life, if there's a furniture design, they have to invest in the inventory. but in terms of NFT space, they can just design can just be there in the market, and people can have a look at it, and they can experience it in terms of metaverse also.
Yes, so that's a very great point. So we can always have a marketplace around NFTs as well. So if there are sufficient NFT in the market, we can have a marketplace where you can buying these designs and you are selling through your addresses. You do not require a separate platform for itself. There are many platforms which are catering to this particular requirement today. So you can have the entire ecosystem. You can have this vertical in your particular startup. You can try out these things, and I definitely suggest that you can do it on Polygon or probably on Hi-Fi blockchain if they have this functionality, and go for it. Like, do it with a minimum product. You can have at least one design as NFT and see whether your customers are buying it or not. Because this will help you reaching out to these luxury, I would say the elite people who would be willing to pay more for the furniture. And through NFT, you can have that edge over the other startups when it comes to design.
So coming back to Sanya, we have seen some success in the NFT area. What do you think? How will it shape the creative side of the design industry?
So here I'd actually like to connect the metaverse as well as the NFT, right? So we were talking about how NFTs can impact the world of metaverse. So one use case is video games. So I don't know if a lot, I'm sure all of you have heard of it, but my interest. So Fortnite, for example, you can sell certain gear or inventory online on NFT platforms, which can then be imported into your respective video game, and your characters can wear that. So it gives a little bit of a novelty factor. Now the next thing, how many of you here are fans of Amitabh Bachchan? I'm sure most of you will be. Raise your hand. Yeah. So something that he actually got a lot of hate for recently is he released these NFTs, which was just a picture of him. Yeah. Now, would you buy a picture that you can just easily download off the internet? Would you? I definitely would, even if I'm a huge fan of the person that's releasing them. So the thing that artists need to look for is something that you can add value to. So your NFT doesn't just have to be a piece of art. It should have something behind it. So for example, if you're a very famous artist, you can offer classes or a one-to-one session. Something that will add value to your NFT other than just a picture. Because you can just screenshot that or take it off the internet. That's what I see.
Yeah, even I believe so, because keeping an NFT on a server doesn't really make sense unless I can, monetize it and use it and see or feel it probably. So coming back to you, Sahil, are NFTs the future of art and collectibles?
Well, that's a really good question, but I feel that it's mostly about the public, whether they are ready to own such kind of NFTs or not. So, as working in this industry, it's important that we have more awareness among the people who would eventually be using it. But at the same time, the market has to accept it. If you're having these unique designs on, say for example, Instagram, so these things are happening in the right direction. The Instagram adopting blockchain, letting you have these NFTs on Instagram profile, I think this is happening in the right direction. But at the same time, when the marketplace is being created and people are manipulating the prices, and we are buying Amitabh Bachchan NFT, which is of no use unless you are a collector. In that, I think those kind of use cases will put a very bad marketing around the use cases of NFT. But at the same time, yes, it is going to play a very important role if the market is actually accepting these kind of NFT. But at the same time, the startups can use it for other purposes as well. We have intellectual property. By having digital ownership, those things can be easily be brought onto the blockchain platform. And by making use of these things, you can actually protect the designs and all the furnitures which you are designing by making use of these emerging technologies. So I think that that is one of the vertical where it is going to play a key role. But coming to the NFT marketplace where we are selling it, the market has to be ready for it. We need more awareness around the NFT.
I think the people are investing in NFTs a lot because they think that they can make returns out of it by selling it in future, because the hype was there in the past, the first tweet and all that stuff. So it's, I think, a way of making money for people.
Yeah, so whenever we look any investment or any assets, we always try to see whether this can give us the retirement or not. So NFT was one of those kind of dreams that was being sold to people.
But I think the market is getting mature now and people are investing in NFTs, which have a use case, or just like Sanya also mentioned that, something which you can have a value add in terms of physical world also, not just in the virtual world. Since we've been talking all the good things about metaverse and NFTs, coming back to the point, let's face the reality. What are some of the limitations of blockchain? I would like to pose this question to both of you.
Well, like you mean from only from the designing perspective,
See,
or
we've
in
been
general?
talking NFT, metaverse, everything exists, it's all good. Yeah, absolutely cool. But if you come to reality, there are some, reality hitting hard that blockchain is still not that reached or that level or
Understood.
maturity is not there.
Yes.
If you talk about real life implications also, there are still people which are hesitant about blockchain,
Yes.
specifically the financial sector of India.
Yes.
So what are still the limitations of blockchains that we should focus on so that, the next generation is, without realizing, they're probably using blockchains in their day-to-day activity?
Yeah. So basically, what's happening in the blockchain industry is that people have these addresses. They do not know how these private keys are working. Now, if you say that I'm owning this particular NFT, that means in the address which you are owning, you have the private key. If you do not have the private key, that means you are not owning that particular NFT. And at the same time, this private key, it's not like a tangible key which you can touch. It's more of like a virtual, like a digital, just a letter, right? So if this is getting compromised, you can easily copy paste, you can send this private key to anyone. And this is actually being happening. People are losing millions every day, especially even those people who've been working in the blockchain industry itself. Like there's a Bitcoin core developer who lost around few $1 million because his private key got compromised. Now, even if people working in the industry itself are losing like this, how we can expect the general public to actually make use of these kind of addresses and putting their hard-earned money in these kind of technologies? So, if we can have a better user experience around the addresses onboarding, and at the same time better security for owning these NFT, I think this is one of the limitations which is happening today. But if we can overcome this, probably we can reach out to a mass audience, and at the same time we can have the proper security around the various use cases.
Your points on limitations.
Okay, so I don't know about all of you, but the first time I heard of blockchain was criminals using it. Yes? Bitcoin transactions for drugs and terrorism and basically illicit activities all over the globe. That's how I first heard about it. And that's why I feel a lot of investors are skeptical about getting into it. Because the first thing you think is, oh, criminal activity. And another point is the tax, if anyone's heard about it. Right now, it is horrible to own crypto in India. Because above the normal crypto tax, which is 30%, we also now have 18% GST. That's half of your earnings gone right then and there. So the best thing to do now is stop looking at crypto as the best use case for blockchain. Start looking at different use cases. So for example, blockchain in finance, like Shinam was talking about it. People now have faced the biggest problem with blockchain is it's not secure, right? Firstly, anybody can use it, and two, it's completely anonymous. So you don't know who's sitting behind a particular address. That's why I feel the future of finance and blockchain is hybrid. It brings in the good qualities of decentralized finance, which is blockchains, and then centralized finance, which is your normal banking and government system.
So any questions from the audience about blockchain, metaverse, NFT, all the Web3 words?
No, I'm good. I'm good. So I work in the L&D department, okay, learning and development. And I was thinking, instructional design is one of the things that we, prepare a course for, our participants to learn stuff. Can we see a, foreseeable future where, learning can be done on the metaverse? Apart from that, byte and small, byte videos where people learn. Apart from that, do we have anything where we can materialize learning over metaverse?
So basically, if you look at the edtech, we have faced this problem during our time that we were not able to visualize the things we were being taught, right? And through metaverse, I believe that is one of the biggest and the greatest use case of using metaverse in education. The students can actually visualize the things they are studying, and that will make the concept more clear. So that is one of the sector where yes, it is definitely going to play a very big role.
So what I meant was, there are videos that these guys play, right? Yes. So in the learning and development sector, what they do is they just basically have a video that they play, and then they have something to do, calculations or anything like that, or where they can, please dissect whatever the learnings are. can there be a change in the metaverse apart from this? Can metaverse or can meta bring something else into the learning and development than the conventional methods of e-learning?
When you're saying dissecting, what exactly do you mean on that?
Say I learned A plus B is equal to C, okay, in a video, and then they try it out. When they do it, is A plus B is actually equal to C? Then they try it out. Can there would be a third thing that can be offered by the metaverse?
Okay,
And can
perfect.
we design that metaverse?
So just imagine this, that you are working, like you want to visualize a building, or say for example a ship. Now if you can wear some gloves that will help you touch those models in a virtual world, you are actually touching those ships, big ships. You can see those parts virtually and you can actually feel them. That is how the metaverse is actually revolutionizing this particular vertical. So if you are able, during your learning process, you are able to touch those things, you can actually feel those things, that is going to add a lot more better experience from the learning side. So that is how it is going to change, as compared to the traditional ways that we are doing it.
And if I have to start off, creating a visual parameter where they can start off with this thing, where would be the best thing to start?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So like I said, it's actually a concept that is being done. Many companies are trying to build products on it. Like Facebook is saying they have a minimum viable product as we speak. So probably if it is in public domain now, you can try it out, whether they are allowing you to, as a creator, develop such platforms or not, on top of their platform. But as we speak today, I do not think that there is actually that kind of development that has already been done. Some startups are doing on that front, but no. I do not think that you would be able to develop an end product like we discussed just now. Even in terms of the gloves which I discussed about, like the haptic gloves, that is something that is being developed. You can actually feel just a few objects, but not all the objects in the metaverse. So that is something which is being developed. But yes, this is the right moment to get into these kind of ecosystem, at least to have a better understanding. So that when the platform is actually completely developed, you would be able to develop those whatever use cases you have at a much faster pace as compared to other startups.
Thank you.
You would like to add anything?
Hello. Hi. We had a discussion, like we heard your discussion on all the knowledge that you guys have about the entire metaverse and all. The first time I heard about NFTs was when I released a few songs. Somebody came to me and suggested, why don't you make NFTs out of this? I didn't understand why and for what and what it is and like what. And then the reason why he suggested that is I can make additional money out of it. Okay, so having said that, my question to you as an architect, let's say I make a design, okay, why should I put it up as an NFT? Why should I do it?
Right. So, as he was talking about, there are a lot of metaverse platforms now, right? And he talked about creating an office space. Why not be able to create your own home space as well? Your digital home, say. And then, obviously, you're going to design it, you're going to make it pretty, and that's where designers come in. So, say you created a very intuitive couch design, right? You create that in a software like Blender, and you upload it to an NFT marketplace. There, people can buy it, and they can basically upload it to their metaverse home, and they can have that couch there forever. So that's a novelty attribute to whatever you're selling. People will buy it. I know they will. I have friends who currently spend a lot of time on the metaverse, and they will definitely buy novelty items like this. There's no doubt about it.
Right. So, okay. So now as a designer, if I say, okay, as a product, it's fine. But if I upload an elevation of a wall or an elevation of a building, like something like that, do you think that is something that, in your experience, do you think that is something that could materialize as a good asset to own for people in the metaverse?
Okay, so the first question you have to ask yourself there is, what value are you adding to someone's life? What is that NFT going to add to someone's experience? If you can say yes, there is something tangible that it will add to someone's experience, then that will materialize as a good asset. If you cannot find something, you can still release that asset, but you have to try to make something that will add to the experience. You can't just upload an empty asset and expect people to have a good experience with it or even buy it in the future.
Is it also like like Instagram, like if I upload something, the currency on Instagram is views and likes, right? So you market it, you boost it, and then you get everything. So is there like a strategy to market your NFTs around in the same universe?
Not as of now, no. So first, you have to have multiple social platforms that contribute to your popularity on the NFT marketplace, right? So say you have a huge Instagram following. Only then will people who are your fans, who follow your work, will be willing to buy your NFTs.
So you can basically market your NFTs on like already existing social platforms, which are all right. All right. Thanks a lot.